Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Islam to all the Moors. I am Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. Excuse me. So welcome to the free astrotheology course. As you can see, this is our textbook, The Astrology of the Old Testament, or The Lost Word Regained. The author is Carl Anderson. This book was published in 1892. 1892. Okay. Let's get started. I'm in a new venue, and well, let's see how it goes. I'm not sure if I'm going to come back here. But anyway, let's see how it goes. If I can do this with as minimal distraction as possible. I don't really feel comfortable here. But, you know, let's see how it goes. So we're going to continue on page 188. Page 188. And this is going to be a long chapter. This is chapter 15. So we're about to finish Gemini, so we have a lot of signs to go through. This chapter covers all 12 zodiac signs. And if you hang in there to the end of this course, well, actually, even to the end of this chapter, you're going to learn a tremendous amount of information. So anyway, let's pick it up. They have this fan. I want them to turn this fan off. In Southeast Asia. Can you off the fan, please?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. When you yeah, thank you.
No problem.
When you're in Southeast Asia and you sit outside, they'll bring a fan and turn the fan on. I used to think that the fan was to cool you off, but it's to cool you off, but more than that, to keep the bugs away, particularly the mosquitoes. But I don't like the sound of that humming noise that fans make. It's very irritating. So anyway, let's pick it up. Page 188. We are on Gemini, the twins, which is the favorite house of Buddha or Krishna. So you should keep that in mind. Why? Because Buddha and Krishna, these are deities who were, according to the Solarites, according to the story, okay? These are deities who were worshipped during a specific zodiacal age. Okay, and it is through these deities that were worshipped. That is to say, someone finds artifacts, statues of gods, so-called records, whatever carved in stone or written records on whatever the media, etc. And then the Solarites, the archaeologists, the ecclesiastical class, the secret societies, they've all colluded to come up with this scheme. And then based upon these artifacts, they say, oh, this god was worshipped during this zodiacal age. And then that way they control history. They create history and they control the history. Okay, they can change history simply by saying they found new evidence, a new artifact. Okay, and then place it in one of the 12 zodiac signs. For example, if they found a new deity. Oh, this deity must be from the age of Cancer. Right? So you count from today back through each of the zodiac signs, which would be approximately 2,160 years or so, something like that. Okay, for each zodiacal age, and now they date it. Okay, they date it. Okay, and they can build a whole history this way, artificially built off of one template. And that one template, again, is the solar zodiac projection, the zodiac that's being used today with its 12 zodiac signs. Okay, and with its 15 or 16 solar religions, of which Christianity is one, is but one. Okay, so on and so forth, right? All of this stuff was created, in my opinion, at the same time. All right. And who was responsible for it? Largely the Osirians. They're the ones who use warfare and legal means, birthright theft, to kill off, imprison, and force our people to accept the solar mindset in exchange for reckoning time by the stars, which would be the celestial ship of the north, the circumpolar zodiac projection, the Great Bear, the Thigh, the Clock of Destiny, Circle 7. Okay, so anyway, let's continue. So again, Buddha, Krishna, Christ. Of course, Christ is not just Jesus Christ or Jesus the Christ, but Christ, the S-U-N Son, occupying the position on June 22nd or thereabout every year, that position in the solar, in the summer solstice position, which is the highest elevation that the S-U-N Sun is able to achieve during the course of a year. All right? Is it clear? So the S-U-N Sun takes on the title of Christ, the Christ, on June 22nd, which is the summer solstice. Okay? Is that clear? All right. Or we see here the cross. These are the cardinal points: north, east, south, and west of the Aryans, or ancient Hindus. Okay? So now, scholars, this is where it gets to be very telling. Very, very telling. So this gets us into civics. It is the house, or Gemini is the house of oratory. So these religious leaders, they are orators, right? For example, MLK. You choose them. Okay, so it is the house of oratory, talking. Oh, he's such a good preacher. I just love the way he preached. You hear women say that all the time, right? Talking, and of mercantile ventures, commerce, especially selling, y'all. Selling is talking, right? At minimum is talking. At best is problem solving. But you're still talking. All right? And it is, as it signifies, an airy sign. The name of its angel, or angle of light, is Ambri-El. Ambri-El. Its prophet is Zechariah. You must remember that all prophets prophesy. What makes them a prophet? Their ability to read the stars, just like we read books. Okay? It's not that you get something in your head and you have a dream. No, that's not prophesying. Prophesying is reading the stars. Okay, and if you understand the astrology of it, you will see astrology all throughout those books they call the prophets. Okay, and people who are coming with a dream are usually coming with a scam. Same way MLK came with a scam with his dream, the same way Joseph and Pharaoh came with scams with their dreams. And guess what, y'all? If you can make the association, Joseph and Pharaoh's scam was an economic scam. And it fleeced the people. It robbed them of their birthright. Well, guess what? Martin Luther King's dream was also a scam. He colluded with the U.S. corporation and scammed his followers out of their nationality and birthright, out of their commerce. Now, is it true or is it false? Is it true or is it false? So prior to MLK, the so-called blacks, these denationalized Moors, owned their own businesses. They were owners, not all, right? They were denationalized, but they had their own economy. Now look at them. Look at them now. They have nothing. They don't even have their liberty. So let's continue. So we're going to skip down, okay? We're going to skip because we covered that in the class yesterday, the class before this video. So let's skip down until the sentence that reads, its diseases are corruption of the blood. So that would be Escheat. Escheat. Feudalism, Escheat. Wind in the veins. Wind as in air. Y'all, wind in the veins. Let me Google search that. If there's air in the veins, that's bad news, right? Oh, it's raining. Shoot. The phrase in the wind, so this is an idiom. The phrase in the wind is a common idiom used in English language. It is often used to describe a situation where something is about to happen or change, but it has not yet happened. The idiom can be applied to various situations such as politics, sports, business, and personal life. So this is clearly not the way we use the idiom in the wind, is it, y'all? No, we use in the wind in the case that it's over, it's happened already, or I'm leaving. Okay, so I would suppose it meaning it means it's over, right? We used to say in the wind when I was a kid, when I was very young. I left you in the wind, right? Or I guess there's a big gap, right? A big gap in space or time. He's in the wind or something like that, yo. So wind in the veins. I don't know what that means. Wind is air, air in the veins. Ah, its diseases are corruption of the blood, wind in the veins. Maybe wind in the veins is speaking to corruption of the blood. But we looked at corruption of the blood. I want to show you all something else. So let's look up Escheat. Let's take a look at Escheat. Give me 1 second. This is so important. It cannot be emphasized enough. Give me 1 moment, please. So remember, the topic is the Sabian Moors, the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, and how that was through force of violence and legal process that was replaced. Okay, and now we're all in the mindset of the Solarites. Okay, so Escheat. Let me show y'all this. So this is what's happening within the U.S. Corporation company.
Cô cũng về luôn. Dạ.
This is how they keep you down. All right, Escheat. A, the forfeiture of all property to the state when a person dies without an heir. So property can be tangible and intangible. Rights are property, right? Rights are also property. So rights, you are born with the, okay. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, I'm not coming back here again. Thanks. Shoot. Hold on, let me just, she's gonna drop. Do y'all see this is plastic? I'm gonna have to go inside. Hold on. So rights are property. Just hold on, y'all. I'm breaking a sweat already. I hope I can find a good place to sit down and relax. Give me 1 second, y'all. Just a minute, y'all.
Rồi, có gì đâu phải hỏi. Nó không bảo là bạn sẽ đi hết việc phải trả tiền đó má. Nó không hỏi là tại sao phải trả tiền cho con Dương để con nói. Nó bảo thuê người làm nó khỏe má. Nó kể cho mình rồi đó. Hay là kể cho đứa nào không biết con gì đó. Mình biết rồi. Tại sao lại trẻ cho mình tiền làm xương đúng không?
So I have to check these cheers, y'all, to make sure they are strong enough because I'm in Vietnam and their furniture, the people are so small here. I've learned from experience to check to make sure that the chairs can hold me, otherwise it'll break. Seriously. Not all people are small. 95% of the people are very small. Like very small. Okay, y'all, so let's make it do what it do. So the idea here is, take a look at this. So does everyone see? So property is both tangible and intangible. Okay, so you're born with rights. Rights are property. So birthrights, is a contracted form of birthrights. Okay, so you're born with birthrights. They come through your bloodline. That's the point. They come through your bloodline. They come to you through your family. All right. So family, when you expand that, that becomes a nation. When your bloodline is attached to a landmass and a common culture, okay? Common culture, common heritage. The heritage, inheritance in her. See, in the land, we covered that. In her terrestrial. So in her, it, ants. Now, we discussed this in last class, so I'm not going to go over it in great detail, but I've discussed this in other videos. So in her is the land. Her is also the Great Mother, the celestial ship of the north, the circumpolar zodiac projection, the Great Mother Typhoon, okay? The Great Mother Nature, in her. So in the North Celestial Pole region, this is where all beginnings came from. This is the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. All beginnings have their origin in the North Celestial Pole region, period. And that is the beginning of time. Does everyone see? And there never was a time when man was not. Why? Because man is thought made manifest from the soil. So thought is a function of mind. Mind is the first law of mentalism. The Great Mother, nature, the Great Mother Hawthorne, is the law, the Hermetic law of gender, and its function of forming, reforming, transforming, producing, and reproducing. Not fleshly, it is celestial. Okay, so this is the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. So as above, so below, as below, so above. Therefore, her is Mother Nature or Earth. Okay, all things of value come from her. And we went through this before. Her is terrestrial Earth. As above, so below. As below, so above. The Hermetic law of compensation. Correspondence. Right, but correspondence and compensation, they're the same. Okay, so does everyone see? Now, its diseases, Gemini's diseases, are corruption of the blood. Now let's go back to it. So I had to set that up with that background information. So Escheat, the forfeiture of all property. See, all things that are in her inheritance, physical and non-physical, correlate with Deuteronomy chapter 28, the blessings and the curses, 1 through 68. So the forfeiture of all property to the state when a person dies without heirs. So civil death, civiliter mortuus, included, not just physical death, but being dead in the eyes of the law. So in other words, civilly and politically dead. Okay, in that state, you will be escheated. So let's keep it going. B, title to lands. So wait a minute, how does someone get title to your inherited land? According to English law, escheat denotes an obstruction of the course of descent. So the course of descent is your heirs receive your inheritance, those things of value that came from the land and that came from, that's right, you got it, those intangible things such as your rights, okay, that come through the bloodline, that come through you being thought made manifest from the soil. Does everyone understand? Your rights, okay, your offices. So for example, when we look at the Constitution for the United States of America, the organic Constitution, the 3 branches of governments, the reserved rights of the people. Does everyone see the executive, legislative, and judicial powers that we possess and that our ancestors provided to the United States of America to form that government, right? We ordained it. Why? Because those are our offices, okay, which we see manifested in land and law cannot be separated. Moors are land by lawful definition. Check your Black's Law Dictionary. Land, therefore Moors, and law cannot be separated. They are inseparable. Therefore, Moors, therefore land are the substance and subject matter of the law, period. Okay? But something can occur to break the line of descent so that you or your heirs won't get anything but punishment. Okay, this is going back to Deuteronomy chapter 28. So let's continue reading. B, title to lands according to English law, escheat denotes an obstruction of the course of descent and a consequent determination of tenure by some unforeseen contingency, in which case the land naturally results back by a kind of reversion to the original grantor or lord of a fee. That lord of a fee, y'all, is a stranger. Meaning someone who is not in the line of descent, who's not an heir. Someone who is not an heir, but a foreigner. Do y'all see it? Okay, so now let's continue. 2, all escheats under the English law are declared to be strictly feudal. And to import the extinction of tenure. 3, but as the feudal tenures do not exist in this country, listen, there are no private persons There are no private persons who succeed to the inheritance by Escheat. The state steps in the place of the feudal lord, in the place of the feudal lord. In other words, the state is acting as the feudal lord, okay? Or it has the role of the feudal lord by virtue of its sovereignty. By virtue of the state's sovereignty as the original and ultimate proprietor of all the lands within its jurisdiction. So y'all read that. So this is why Noble Drew Ali said, if you don't do anything else, proclaim your nationality, right? But you have to take it further than that, as we see. So you have to take additional nationality steps, which would be to terminate all contracts that you have with these foreigners, with these foreign corporations. You have to terminate the contracts, because what's happening in these contracts, as most of you, I suppose, already know, that you are agreeing to give up your birthrights. You're agreeing to be a tenant, okay? And pay them, and pay them a fee. In religion, we would say that you have agreed to be the sacrifice. Okay? You have to remember, make the correlation. Make the correlation. Under the solar zodiac, the SUN sun in Aries is the ram. So SUN sun is the SON sun. Right? So sons, the autochthonous Moors, can be that sacrificial lamb. Okay? Why? Because the Moor who's lying down in a dead state, his head is in the east gate. The east gate is Aries. Aries the ram, the Lamb of God. Okay? Everyone remember that? That's coming from Clock of Destiny, Volume 2 by C. M. Bay, page 38. All right, so let's keep it going. Corruption of the blood. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me find that for you. Corruption of the blood. It's a little bit uncomfortable because I have to whisper. Give me 1 second, y'all. I have a definition where it says corruption of the blood. I just need to find it. Well, anyway, let's look at the last sentence here. It says, it seems to be the universal rule of civilized society that when the deceased or even civilly dead owner has left no heirs, it should vest in the public, that's the land, the property, the inheritance, and be at the disposal of the government. Now take a look at that. Okay, now let's go into the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1836, between the Moroccan Empire and the foreign United States of America. I believe it's Article, I don't remember if it's Article 23. Hold on. So the point I'm trying to make is to show you that in the Biblio-Heliotext, there is astrology. And astrology is civics. The Biblio-Heliotext is civics. That's what I'm trying. Remember, there are levels of understanding. The Biblio-Heliotext, the Bible, is an encoded message. Okay, it is an encoded message. Give me 1 second. Let me find the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1836. Give me 1 second now. I hope I have it. I thought I had it. Hold on. Give me 1 second. So, be patient. Okay, so the reserved rights of the people that we talked about earlier, Article 10. So let me show you that. So pause the video on the replay. Y'all can read this. Let me see if I can see it. I'm looking at it in reverse, so it's a little bit difficult for me. The power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, not prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or, you guys see or to the people, or to the people. Now, of course, the United States is no longer the United States in operation, right? Because it's a democracy. So they're in dishonor. Okay? So the powers, legislative, judicial, and executive, are to be executed by the people. Okay? So let's look at the preamble of the same Constitution. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. So that's us. That's us. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Now, keep in mind, y'all, this word ordain. Let's take a look. One minute. Let's take a look at this word. Ordain. Transitive verb. 1, to invest with ministerial or priestly authority. Did y'all get that? To invest with ministerial or priestly authority. Confer holy orders on. 2, to authorize as a rabbi. To order or decree by virtue of superior authority. Does everyone see that? So each of these meanings apply to this document. All right? So you cannot give legislative power if you don't have it. You cannot give judicial power if you don't have it. You can't give executive power if you don't already have it. And how is it that we have it? Because we are thought made manifest from the soil. Thought is a function of the first Hermetic law. Mind, mentalism. All is mind. The universe exists in the mind of the all. You cannot give what you do not have. Does everyone see that? So in their wisdom, our ancestors reserved these powers, these rights, these birth rights for us, specifically stating it in this trust agreement. In case we have a situation like we have right now, okay? So that the heirs would always have ultimate control. Is it clear? So give me 1 second, y'all. Let me check these comments. Is it clear? So I still have to go to the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, so y'all be patient with me, but let me, what is it? This, I think it's Ian Clark says, thank you, it's you and me. Okay. So give me 1 second, y'all. So I hope everyone sees that. So now let's go over to the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. 1 second. I hope I have it here. So yesterday's class, we went into the Moorish American Nationality Identification Card, AA222141. So y'all go back and review that class, because that also has to do with what we're talking about right now. Let's see. Look at destiny. One second, y'all. I think it's in the other book, y'all. Oh well. I tried. Okay, well, unfortunately, guys, I don't have scholars rather. Do I have it? Wait. No, that's not it. So y'all gonna have to go check the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, and what you're gonna find, look, it's somewhere around Article 20, 23, 24, 25, somewhere around there. The article says that if there is no heir present, then the property is to be held by some person of trust. Of course, these corporations are persons, right? They're corporate entities. So they're corporate persons. Until the rightful heir shows up. Until the rightful heir shows up. So these civilly dead Moorish Americans, the blacks, the African Americans, the Indians, whatever byword, the Mexican, whatever, Latino, whatever. So in their Civiliter Mortuus state with their head in Aries in the East Gate, once they wake up and learn who they are, in religion we would say return to the Most High, right? Once they return to the Most High, start keeping His commandments. Of course, in civics, the natural law is they stop harming people. Stop harming, stop injuring themselves and others, okay? And start living according to the highest principles in the universe, all right? In other words, that's the Southern Celestial Pole principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, which can be reduced down to do no harm. Okay, so in law, Don't injure anyone. All right? Don't injure anyone. Is it clear? So once that's done and you declare your nationality and you terminate these contracts that, with these corporations like marriage certificate, professional licenses, and those that you can't terminate, or not can't, but those that you need, you prepare your affidavit of fact with the proper autograph, reserving your rights. And if they give you any hard time or threaten you, of course, you would autograph with under protest and duress, right? And without prejudice, so without loss of any right. All rights reserved. Right, y'all? So now they can't bring these contracts against you and enforce them with success if you know how to respond. So as we see, they will try to enforce them. Just go to enforcetheconstitution.org and you'll see how dishonorable many of them are. They still try to enforce, but if you know how to respond, then you'll be okay, just like you see the other Moorish Americans who are in honor, who have taken the nationality steps and have had success with it. All right, y'all, but anyway, let's keep it going. I wanted to show you corruption of the blood in one of these definitions of Escheat. When rainy season is over with, y'all, I'm gonna have the books with the treaty and the cases with me. I just don't want to get rained on and have them all destroyed, because then it's just a mess if I have to reprint everything and I gotta pay, right? I need to pay for it. I need to pay for it and pay to get it delivered or to go pick it up. So I don't want to go through all of that. It gets to be costly. Let me Google search it, hold on. So I've shown this many times before. So the point is that corruption of the blood comes out of the book of the law. It's a concept that comes from the book of the law. Okay. Here we are. I think I like this even better. Give me 1 second, y'all. So where am I? So I'm in some law dictionary, hold on. Law stack exchange. Hold on. So it asks the question, what does corruption of blood mean? The Congress shall have power to declare punishment of treason, but no attainder of treason shall work corruption of blood or forfeiture except during the life of the person attained. So this forfeiture is referencing back to Escheat, right? Give me 1 second, y'all. So I think it's Deuteronomy, maybe 4:9. I'm going to check it. Could be Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 9. It says that the Most High will punish people who hate him. Those who hate him are those who don't follow his law, right? For the third and the fourth generation. Well, 3 plus 4 is 7. Okay, which is complete, which means complete. Okay, so completely destroy you. This is in harmony with Deuteronomy chapter 28. The curses, right? Punish you until you are completely destroyed. So let's continue. So in English law, during the late medieval and early modern period, from 1321 to 1798, it was possible for Parliament, the legislative body of government, right, to pass, quote unquote, a bill of attainder. This declared a person guilty of a crime, often treason. So, if you if you study the law in the book of the law, you will find that the house of Yasharallah got kicked out of the promised land for one reason and for one reason only. It was serving other gods. That's the only reason that's listed of the so-called Ten Commandments. Serving other gods. That's a deep thing in itself. Now listen, scholars. This declared a person guilty of a crime, of treason, by legislative act, without any trial or other legal process. Often, did y'all get that? So move this to today. This would be the black codes. This would be Jim Crow, children and family services, so on and so forth. All right? This would be race black. Race black. Okay? Often a bill of attainder not only decreed that a person or people, do y'all make the connection? Reserved rights of the people, the preamble to the Constitution, okay? Tricking the people, technology, trick the people out of their birthright. So often a bill of attainder not only decreed that a person or people was guilty, and remember, there has been no legal process, in other words, no due process of law, but also confiscated the convicted persons or the convicted people's race black property. Property could be tangible and intangible, land, birthrights, rights, titles that connect one to the land, preventing his, or rarely her, heirs from inheriting, and possibly rendering those heirs ineligible to hold public offices or peerages. The heir would also be prevented from inheriting through the attained person. For example, property held by the father of an attained person would not pass to the child of the attained person. This was called corruption of the blood. Now notice, y'all, we're talking about the Christ. We're talking about Jesus the Christ. Jesus the Christ, the King of Christianity. Make your correlation to Mark chapter 4, verse 12, where JC said he spoke to the people in puzzles or in riddles, in parables, so that although having eyes to see, they will never perceive. What the hell is going on? Although having ears to hear, they will never understand what the hell is going on, what's happening to them, that they have been escheated, that they are being hit with bills of attainder. And like my mother used to say, You don't even much know who you is. So how you gonna tell me anything? Okay, y'all? Is it clear? So let's continue. So this was called corruption of the blood. Clearly, we're talking about commerce, we're talking about civics, we're talking about law here on page 187, okay? And was viewed with particular horror by many during the colonial period and before. It effectively treated the heirs of the attained person as illegitimate. So therefore, look at this, scholars. The people in the preamble, the autochthonous Moors, Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, who are sprung from the soil, who are thought made manifest, who are the Hermetic law of mentalism in action. That's thought. Who are the substance and subject matter of the law, they have now been disconnected as heirs. Right? And now, Article 10 of the Constitution no longer applies to them. Well, they got eyes to see, but they read it, they never perceived it. They got ears to hear, they've heard about the Constitution. They heard about the reserve rights of the state. They heard about Article 10, but they never understood that it applied to them. This is because of the brainwashing of Christianity, Mark chapter 4, verse 12. I hope everyone can see this. Attainder was usually followed by execution, possibly by torture. So y'all, is it torture, y'all, to pull someone over? Let's say a highwayman, a policy enforcer, pull someone over. They have guns, and they start to ask you questions and demand information from you. And if you don't comply, there's a record that everyone knows because they play it on the media all the time of them exterminating people who look like you. Is that a form of mental torture? Or they lock you up, put you in the dismal crypts because you got these contracts with them? You don't know what's going on, do you? You have no idea what's going on. And then they're going to tell you to go out and hire an attorney. If you can't afford one, they'll give you an attorney. Well, an attorney is attainder, someone who's going to attain you, whose first obligation is to the court, to the de facto court. Okay? But you have eyes to see, but you don't perceive what's happening to you. You don't perceive that you are being made the living sacrifice for a debt that you didn't even know anything about, right? For the Escheat trust, the bonds that are created every time they take you through that process, right? We darn sure don't understand the legalese when we hear it. But anyway, let's continue. Attainder was usually followed by execution, possibly by torture. Execution of what, y'all? Maybe it could be not necessarily a physical execution leading to physical death. It could be execution of what? State statutes, administrative codes, city codes that get you locked up. All right? Because remember, the more who is lying in a horizontal state, his head is in the East Gate, which is Aries, be he in a solar religion or in the solar astrologist. His feet are still in the West, which is Libra, the scales of justice, right? The scales of justice. So this takes us right back to the curses. Also, the Hermetic law of cause and effect. For every cause, there is an effect. For every effect, there is a cause, right? So when you're out of harmony with nature, meaning that you're harming yourself and others, causing injury, meaning that you are disrespecting the ancient foremothers and forefathers, Exodus chapter 20, verse 12, you will be punished. So it's not a punishment, you're bad. No, it's not that. It's corrective signals that come to you in the form of pain to get your attention, to get you to act or to change your behavior. But religion has you drunk or has you high, intoxicated. You continue doing the same thing. Okay, y'all? Even though, right? The bill might specify the specific fate of the attained person. So the bill of attainder oftentimes will tell what the punishment should be. All right? Notice this, y'all. The U.S. Constitution provision prohibits declaring people guilty of crimes by legislative act. Well, we know that's not true, right? Because they're the black codes. They still implement these. We know that, right? We know children and family service. Who knows children and family services better than our people, right? And prohibits sentences from crimes that take property or rights from the family or heirs of the convicted person, even in cases of treason. At least that is how it has been interpreted, but that's not how it goes down in practice, is it, y'all? Fines may be levied. Okay, so the fines are levied. What do? They create these, what is it called? The bill bond. I forgot the name of the 3 bonds. Okay, and this is how they're getting paid. All right, selling that debt on the market. So fines may be levied. All crimes are commercial. I think everybody knows that by now, but may only fall on the actual property of the person convicted. So we know this is not true, right? We know that's not how it goes down in practice. So anyway, so that's good information. So Escheat and bills of attainder, they go together, right? This is a feudalism or a feudalistic operation that they're running in the U.S. Corporation company, period. All right. Just a few more things. So it, again, is Gemini. It rules over the arms and hands of a man. In other words, it takes away your power. Your right hand is your power, your ability to act. Do y'all see it? So Christ takes that away from you. Christ takes away your right hand. Y'all Google search the meaning of the right hand or the arm in the Bible. Or just imagine someone sitting next to you right now that doesn't have arms. So therefore they don't have hands. What can they do for themselves? They're limited, right? They have to use their feet as their arms. So they're almost powerless. Do y'all see it? So Christianity takes away your power. How? Because it uncouples your eyesight from your mind. It uncouples your ears, your hearing, from your mind. Okay, so if you're seeing things, you're clinically crazy. If you're hearing things, you're clinically crazy. That aren't there, right? That's the whole point. All infirmities are in the arms and shoulders, broken limbs, or out of joints, etc., etc., etc. Now let's skip down. Let's skip to the next paragraph. So this sign, that's Gemini, is the ascendant, and no planet posited therein gives a tall and upright stature, straight and well-made body, complexion somewhat sanguine, but not clear. The arms generally long, the hands and feet short and fleshly, a curious hazel eye with dark or blackish hair. We're on page 189 right now. A strong active body, of a ready and good understanding, a rapid walker, right? A rapid walker, swinging the arms at the side and hands open and fingers slightly apart, rapid and quick of apprehension. If this sign be in a nativity chart, in a birth chart, or on or in the 6th, 8th, or 12th house, and Saturn be the ascendant or first house in a violent sign in opposition to the Lord of the 8th or 12th, it denotes danger or death from a fall from a tree, house, or other high place. But if the significators be fortunately placed, the querent gains by great battle. The querent gains by great battle. So why am I emphasizing that? Well, because Christianity is a political power, and they have fought many battles. They're still fighting battles. Still fighting battles. As a matter of fact, Christianity is responsible. Who has created more bloodshed and more wars than Christianity? Well, let's say than religion. We look at modern day wars. The U.S. claims to be a Christian country, right? That's the claim. It was Constantinian Christianity. But look at the wars that they have going on right now, even today. Okay, I don't need to talk about the war in the Middle East, nor in Europe, that the U.S. corporation company is behind, right? They have 260 years of nothing but continuous war. Under the guise, y'all, of what? Manifest destiny. A knockoff version. And by the way, y'all know the verses in the Bible that talks about put on your shield of faith. What are those? Ephesians, maybe Ephesians 3 or 6, I don't remember. But initially, those were literally talking about the garments of war and the weaponry of war. And it was not until Christianity conquered everybody that they made it into something that they call metaphorical or spiritual. All right, but it was literal in its beginning. All right, so if I had the treaty that I talked about before, I would show you that Christianity is referred to as a political power. Okay, it's called the Christian powers. All right, the Christian powers collectively. Okay, so give me 1 second, y'all. But I don't think I need to go through this too much. I think everybody knows that that the Christians are literally all about war. Okay. So you have the Knights Templars and all of these secret societies hiding behind corporations. They're all about war. So I want to bring that to your attention, all right? So again, it says here, the Corinth gains by great battle. So to gain by great battle would be what, y'all? Well, rob someone of their birthright, rob someone of their property, their land and their house. This is what happened to our ancestors. Straight up rob them. Or do it through intimidation, right? I'm talking about robbery at gunpoint or intimidation, threats of violence, okay? Coming from people who are supposed to represent the government, right, y'all? This is how it went down. They show up to your house and tell you, you better be gone by morning or by evening. And if you don't, they're going to exterminate everybody in the house. Okay, I know from, within my family, I have an uncle. We had land that had an oil field on it. And, they showed up and gave my uncle, according to the family story, an offer he couldn't refuse. Okay, and he had to accept pennies in order to keep his life. And that's how they got that land and the oil. So this is what is the word? Let me think of the word. Sice. Is it sice? Hold on. Let me look up Attainder. So this is what they did, y'all, to get our land. They did this on a large scale. And of course, most of our people ain't gonna fight over no land, right? Because we didn't even. It wasn't our consciousness to be fighting over some land, right? Give me 1 second. Hope I can find it. I like to show it so that if anybody wants to have give me 1 second. Oh, wow. Look at this. So I went to Attainder on, usually you'll find the word sice or some variation of that when you look up Attainder in the Black Star Dictionary. But look at this. So, do y'all see where it says loss of titles? Do y'all see where it says loss of titles? Loss of your El, Bay, Day, Il, Ali, which attaches you to the land as an heir, as the substance and subject matter of the law. Okay? As that man or woman that Article 10 applies to. It says, it entails, Attainder, it entailed losing not only one's life, physical or civil, property, and hereditary titles. And hereditary titles. Hereditary titles, in a general sense, are nobility titles, positions, or styles that are hereditary and thus tend or are bound to remain in particular families. Do y'all see that? Okay? 1 second. All right. Deuteronomy 5:9. This is what it reads, y'all. Now remember, we're talking civics. Okay, we're talking civics. So Deuteronomy 5:9 in the KJV, this is what it reads. Thou shalt not bow down thyself unto them, nor serve them. That's the foreign gods, right? For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the inequity of the fathers upon the children up into the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. This is corruption of the blood, all right? So this is where the concepts of Escheat and Attainder are coming from. So 3 plus 7 equals 7, right? So 7, according to the Bible, is complete. So in other words, complete destruction, until you're completely destroyed. So I want to find one that's more modern English. So we're dealing with the concept of corruption of the blood, all right? Here's a good one. CEB version. Do not bow down to them or worship them, because I, the Lord your God, am a passionate God. I punish children for their parents' sins, even to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me. Do y'all see that? I remember when I used to teach a class, I would always get some old ladies who would say, I just don't believe God would curse me and my children. But they don't have an understanding. Actually, they haven't. Let me leave it at that. So remember, those who hate the Most High are those who don't follow his commandments. And when you look at the commandments, if you reduce them all to their common denominator, the common denominator is don't harm anyone, don't hinder anyone. So harm and injury occurs when you take something away from someone that you have no right to take from them, okay? Which is stealing, basically, which is stealing. Do not steal. Okay, so this is the CEV version. If you reject me and worship idols, now remember, these are external deities. So you have to remember who you are. So who are you? Who am I? I am thought made manifest from the soil. I'm a function of the mind. The Hermetic Law of Mentalism. What do I look like? If I know that, what do I look like worshiping some God, some external God? Okay, so again, if you reject me if you reject yourself and worship idols, I will punish your families for 3 or 4 generations. 3 and 4 is 7. Complete, until you are completely destroyed. Do y'all see that? Okay, so does everyone understand where this Escheat is coming from, where the corruption of the blood is coming from? Bills of Attainder. Okay? Okay, so the easy EASY version says this: I will also punish their grandchildren and their children too. That is how I will punish everyone who hates me. Do y'all see that? Okay. Okay, so the next version, EHF, says, I follow up on the guilt of the fathers with their children, their grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren, if they also hate me. So y'all see, this has nothing to do with emotion, right? Or any type of alleged or feeling some relationship. Either you're acting in harmony with nature or you're not. Okay, if you're not, you're said to hate the Most High, all right? So I think I'm going to leave it at that as far as this is concerned. Oh, well, EXB version says, I will punish their children, even their grandchildren and great-grandchildren. I will punish the guilt of the father on the sons until the 3rd and 4th generations who hate me. All right, y'all? So 3 plus 4 is 7, which means complete. Hold on. GW version reads, I punish children for their parents' sins. Do y'all see that? I punish children for their parents' sins. These would be through the Escheat and Attainder, okay? Through corruption of the blood, all right? This is corruption of the blood. Punishing the children for the sins of their fathers until they are completely destroyed, which of course is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15 through 68. I hope it's clear. So remember, we're talking about the Christ who's keeping you in the curses. All right. So anyway, let's continue. Okay, so or by death of friends. Okay. So the querent gains, so the querent would be the person making the inquiry to the astrologer, or just, let's just say the autochthonous more, or the person, or hybrid, whoever, gains by great battle, gains property through battle, through warfare, or by the death of friends, or by the death of friends. Well, wait a minute. The friends' heirs are supposed to get the inheritance, not someone else, right? So again, corruption of the blood. And by servants and legacies of the dead, according to those houses. So all of these, the servants have been escheated through corruption of the blood, all right? especially if Mercury be in Gemini. Mercury, of course, is commerce, is JC the Christ figure, and y'all check this out. Maybe I can find it. Mercury is a known thief. Mercury is a known thief and known to commit frauds in his transactions. Of course, Mercury is a messenger, right? Delivers messages in mythology, delivers messages from the gods to men. So let me see if I can find that for you. If not now during this class, I'll find it for y'all during another class. I'll show you. Mercury is known for committing fraud. You can't make this stuff up. Now remember, this is the mythology side of it, right? This is the mythology side of it. Okay, so let's see if we have it. Let's see if this is it. Hold on. So this is Britannica.com. Mercury, in Roman religion, god of shopkeepers and merchants, travelers and transporters of goods, and thieves and tricksters. Mercury is commonly identified with the Greek Hermes, the fleet-footed messenger of the gods. So let's see if we can find it here. Let me do a page search. See, fraud. Okay. So as you can see, though, I don't remember if I showed you. Let me just show it again. So y'all read this. He's a god of thieves and tricksters. Okay. Everyone see that? So JC is still the topic here. JC is the messenger, right? The Messiah. The messenger of God and men. JC and Mercury are equivalents. Thieves, birthright thefts, tricksters. Mark chapter 4, verse 12, speaking to the people in parables to trick them. All right? Why? Well, he tells you. JC actually tells you. He says, so that they will never be able to repent and be saved. So you make your correlation to Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 1, 2, and 3. All right? So you'll never be able to repent and be saved. This is what JC tells you. That's his rationale. That's his purpose, rather. All right, so let's continue. How long have we been going? 1 hour and 30 minutes. Is this still... I'm not coming back here again. I don't feel comfortable. Okay, so Jupiter has the first face or 10 degrees of Gemini, complete in all things, and it is a face of writing, casting of accounts. Casting of accounts. We need to give that special attention, y'all. Casting of accounts. Casting of accounts. Casting as in spells, accounts as in county. As in what, y'all? The place where the property, the Escheated property, is going to be held. Okay, or accounted for. Right? Giving him receiving of petitions and writings of no profit or utility. Mars have the second face of Gemini, which is the face of labor, troubles, and study in what is painful, and in dishonest actions. Well, not surprised, because Mars has to do with war, right? The Escheat Sun has the third face, or third 10 degrees. It is the face of forgetfulness, disdain, jeering, scoffing, and boldness. The first 7 degrees are the terms of Mercury. The next 7 are Jupiter. The next 7 are Venus. From 21 to 25 inclusive are for Mars. And the last 5 are for Saturn. Jupiter receives detriment in this sign, and it is the fall of the dragon's tail. So we're going to go into the dragon's tail in another class in more depth. All right. The diurnal house of Mercury, the dragon's head, so we'll deal with that. Also, it has to do, both of these have to do with the moon. All right, so the diurnal house of Mercury, the dragon's head is exalted in 3 degrees. It is the day of triplicity of Saturn, and the night triplicity of Mercury. Whenever you find Gemini in the 2nd house or 5th house or 9th house, you may rest assured that person's business requires dexterity of hands or arms. In other words, you need hand skills. The 2 large stars, Castor and Pollux. So these are in mythology presented as Gemini, but not the original Gemini. These 2 stars, Castor and Pollux, were the signs of Gemini at the time when the constellations so far agreed with the signs whose name they bear at the beginning of Aries, and this is in italics. Okay, so whose name they bear at the beginning of Aries was at or near the commencement of the constellation, and the place of the Escheat sun at the vernal equinox equal to 6,198 years from the now due east. The Escheat sun and every fixed star moving through each sign of the zodiac in 2,154 years, so the zodiacal age, y'all, making a revolution around the grand central sun in 25,848 years, which is a great year, scholars. The Babylonian or Great Father cycle. So let's do some comparison. So this is the solar reckoning of time. Okay, so a zodiacal year and a great year in the solar zodiac projection. That's how they reckon time. This is different. This is not ancient. Our ancient ancestors reckoned time by the Great Bear, the celestial ship of the north, making a revolution around the pole star. So starting at point A, going back to point A. So the 7 constellations in the northern celestial pole region, circling around, revolving around the pole star, makes a cycle of time. And that's how our ancestors reckon time, and also circle 7. So make the distinction. This is the mindset. What's more fundamental than the way you keep time? What's more fundamental than the way you reckon time and the way you perceive time and manage time? Okay, of course, and then there's circle 7. So our ancestors put a boundary around that which is boundless. And the Great Bear, they said, is the minute hand of the clock. And Sirius, the dog star, they said, in the south, the southern polar region, they said that's the hour hand of the clock. Hence, we have Clock of Destiny, which is the title of C.M. Bay's 2-volume work, Clock of Destiny. Okay? That's the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. A solar zodiacal year, for age rather, for example, the age of Aries, the age of Pisces, the age of the bull, the age of Gemini. These are solar reckonings of time, and they're not ancient. Okay, so it's going back about 6,000 years. So if you read the Celestial Ship of the North, volume 2, I don't remember, maybe chapter 9 or 10, it's going to tell you that these zodiacal ages can be counted back, or 87,000 years are accounted for in the temple of Dendera. Okay? This is what they'll tell you. 87,000 years, and there were, I think, 3 pole shifts. 3 pole shifts during that time. So if that's true, if it's true, then that means our ancestors did not acknowledge that as the proper way to keep time. Because we kept time by the stars, right? Or stellar reckoning of time, which is a circle 7, Clock of Destiny, right? But it wasn't until the Osirians, somewhere around 4,000 to allegedly 4,000 to 4,500 BCE that the Osirians came in and destroyed that mindset and replaced it with the solar zodiac projection, or accounting for time by the sun, the apparent position of the sun along the ecliptic, okay, and the position of the planets relative to the sun. All right. So we learned also that the Maserat, all of that is a remix from the North Celestial Pole paradigm. All right. All that just all made up. So y'all take it and do whatever it is that you want with it. But as we continue on through the celestial ship of the North, you're going to see that they created this whole solar zodiac projection. All right, it was created. I'm talking about the mythology and the functionality, all of this. They stole it. They stole it from the circumpolar zodiac projection and then applied it to the solar zodiac projection. That's what happened. The next sign in succession is Cancer, represented as, then they're showing the symbol, and made from the right and left breasts in men. Most people think those are crab claws, right? The symbol, but it's the right and left breast in man. It means Cancer, or the crab, of course. That's the modern name of it, and the modern representation of it is not the original. Said to originate from the sun sun's motion, because at the summer solstice, about June 22nd yearly, we have reached the longest day, and the sun, like a crab, begins to move backward to his southern declination. So move backwards, meaning that until prior to, well, from March 22nd, let's go back further. From December 25th, exactly, end of December 24th, very first second of December 25th, a shadow is cast on the sundial, indicating that the sun is ascending northward. So the sun has changed directions. Now it's springing northward, it's ascending northward, and then it passes over the celestial equator on approximately March 22nd. It passes over. This is the Jewish Passover. The first new moon, I think, is one week later, something like that. That's the Christian Easter. The sun continues to ascend northward. Right, it continues to ascend northward, increasing in elevation until June 22nd. Okay, it reaches its highest elevation June 22nd, and then on June 25th, it begins to fall toward fall season. It begins to fall. Its elevation begins to decrease. So this is what the author is talking about when he says, like a crab, the sun begins to move backwards. Backward. Instead of continuing northwardly, it moves backward, or it declines in elevation. It's moving backward toward the south, okay? Backward to his southern declination. Okay, so of course at the summer solstice, the sun, remember, in the East Gate, Aries, the Lamb, this is Jesus, the Lamb of God. So now the sun, Jesus, the Lamb of God, at the summer solstice, the sun takes on the title Christ. Okay? So as the sun falls and it crosses below the equinoctial point on September 22nd, which is the fall equinox, it falls below the celestial equator, the fall equinox, the autumn equinox. So Christ is crucified as Christ crosses below the fall equinox. all right, or the fall equinoctial point. Y'all see it? So it's going to look like this. So the sun is coming down, and the sun is, hold on, the sun is coming down. It's going, so this is 0 degrees, the celestial equator. So the sun crosses below at a 23.5 degree angle or something near that. All right? So that's Christ crucified. That's when Christ is crucified. This is where you'll see the Christian this is where you'll see in the Christian iconography, you'll see Christ on the cross and his mother Mary next to him, Mary representing Virgo. Okay, Virgo, constellation Virgo. Is it clear? Christ drinks the vinegar. He's given the vinegar to drink the gall, which is an indication that the season for making wine, which is the vintage season, has ended. The grape juice from that point forward is only good for making vinegar. All right, y'all? So the angle or angel of Cancer, the angel of Cancer is Moriel, corresponding to the prophet Amos and the apostle John, to the disciple Matthew, or writer Matthew. So Matthew is very interesting because Matthew traces back to Zeus. Okay, but you can get that out of the devil's pulpit. Matthew traces back to Dios, Zeus. Okay? It is one of the double heads of Janus of the Romans. This is Cancer. The other being January. The herb or plant of Cancer is comfrey. The stone of Cancer is chalcedony. Of the children of Israel, Cancer is Asher. Well, that's very interesting. So let's stop here, scholars. So we're going to come back. So this is page 90. We're going to pick it up on the second paragraph on page 190. Hopefully this evening we can pick it back up. If not, definitely tomorrow. Oh, I forgot to show. I almost forgot to show you. So this image, y'all take a look at this image. Pause it on the replay and you can zoom in. So let's read the caption. It says, symbol of Mercury or Krishna found at Dendera, in use in the age of the first Caesars, BC. So do y'all see how these, it's in my opinion, how these deities were created, fake artifacts? Maybe the artifacts are real, but placed in a different circumstance and a different era of time. In use in the age of the first Caesars, BCE. So there's a lot of people who will tell you that Greece and Rome never existed. Okay? Origin of the rosary and beads. It's the origin of the rosary and beads. So take a look at it. All right. Origin of the rosary and beads. Actually, I see a cross on the garb, a feather, looks like a peacock feather on the head. Anything else? Anyway, so that's it. Assalamu alaikum, shalawama, Islam to all the Moors, I, self, law, and master.